I had to sell my house because I couldn't afford insurance. You might not believe this, but in Florida right now, keeping your home isn't just about paying your mortgage on time, it's about whether you can afford homeowners insurance. Let me tell you the story of Lisa Carter, an elementary school teacher living in Fort Myers, Florida. Lisa bought her first home in 2021. It wasn't huge or fancy, just a small place near the beach where she could hear the ocean in the mornings. For her, it was a dream come true after years of saving on a teacher's salary. But just 3 years later, Lisa had to sell that home. Not because she lost her job. Not because she got sick or went bankrupt. She sold it because she simply couldn't afford the insurance anymore. After Hurricane Ian hit in 2022, her insurance company started raising rates. Her premium jumped from $1,400 a year to nearly $5,600 by the end of 2024, almost 4 times higher in less than 2 years. She tried shopping around. But most big insurers had already pulled out of Florida, labeling it too risky. Others refused to cover her just because her home was too close to the coast, a red zone. In the end, Lisa had no choice but to go with Citizens, the state-backed insurer of last resort. But even that came with a hefty price tag. Nearly half a month's salary every year, just to keep her policy. Lisa said, "I'm a teacher. I can't choose between home insurance and my mom's medication. So I sold the house." So in early 2025, she let go of her dream home, not because she wanted to, but because she wasn't allowed to keep it without insurance. Now she rents a small apartment downtown. Instead of waking up to ocean views, she sees a parking lot. And she still can't believe a single insurance contract could have that much power over her life. Lisa's story isn't unique. Thousands of Floridians are going through the same thing. As premiums skyrocket and companies abandon the market, more and more people are left wondering, can I really keep my home, even if I've already paid it off? If you're living in Florida, or anywhere prone to natural disasters, keep watching, because I'm going to break down why homeowners insurance in America is becoming a nightmare, and what you need to know to avoid becoming the next Lisa. Why home insurance is unaffordable in Florida. Homeownership has long been a cornerstone of the American dream. But in Florida, that dream is increasingly under threat, not from financial instability or housing shortages, but from something that should have offered protection: home insurance. Over the past few years, the cost of homeowners insurance in Florida has soared to crisis levels. What used to be a manageable annual payment for peace of mind has now become a financial burden so heavy that some Floridians are choosing to go without insurance, or worse, selling their homes entirely. For many, the question is no longer, can I afford a house? But rather, can I afford to insure it? To understand this growing problem, we need to look at a combination of factors: climate risk, insurance market instability, legal abuse, and government response. Together, they have created the perfect storm, driving insurance premiums up by hundreds, sometimes thousands, of dollars per year. Florida's geography makes it one of the most hurricane-prone regions in the United States. With over 8,400 miles of coastline and a subtropical climate, the state is highly vulnerable to storm surge, wind damage, and flooding. These risks are not just theoretical, they materialize in real and devastating ways. Hurricane Ian in 2022 alone caused over $100 billion in damages, making it one of the costliest storms in U.S. history. And for insurers, each new storm means another round of massive payouts, followed by recalculations of future risk. The result? Insurers are either pulling out of Florida or dramatically increasing their premiums to stay afloat. Between 2020 and 2024, at least 6 major insurance companies stopped writing new homeowner policies in Florida. Others have gone bankrupt. The ones that remain often impose steep rates and limited coverage. According to the Insurance Information Institute, the average annual premium for homeowners insurance in Florida now exceeds $4,200, nearly triple the national average. But climate alone doesn't tell the whole story. One of the lesser-known drivers of Florida's insurance crisis is litigation abuse. The state has long been a hotspot for lawsuits against insurers, often involving roof replacement claims and water damage. Until recently, Florida accounted for over 75% of the nation's homeowners insurance litigation, despite having only about 8% of the nation's claims. This legal environment has encouraged fraudulent and exaggerated claims, which, in turn, drive up costs for everyone. Here's how it typically happens. a roofing contractor or repair company offers a free inspection, finds damage, sometimes barely visible, and then convinces the homeowner to file a claim. In many cases, attorneys are brought in, and lawsuits are filed, even before insurers have a chance to inspect the property. Whether or not the claim is valid, the legal fees and potential settlement costs force insurers to raise premiums across the board. State lawmakers have tried to address the issue. In late 2022 and again in 2023, Florida passed major insurance reforms aimed at curbing litigation abuse and stabilizing the market. These laws reduced the ability to assign benefits, AOBs, to contractors, limited attorney fee multipliers, and encouraged faster claim resolutions. However, while the reforms show promise, they may take years to affect pricing meaningfully, especially when insurers are still reeling from past losses. The combination of natural disasters and man-made pressures has created a system on the brink of collapse. For many Florida residents, this means navigating an increasingly confusing and expensive insurance landscape. Some have turned to Citizens Property Insurance Corporation, the state-run insurer of last resort, but even Citizens has been overwhelmed. As of mid-2025, Citizens covers more than 1.7 million policies, a number that continues to grow as private companies exit the market. And even Citizens is not a safe haven. Because it is backed by the state, if a major storm hits and Citizens cannot cover all its claims, it has the authority to impose assessments, essentially a surcharge, on nearly all insurance policyholders in Florida. That means even people with private insurance could end up paying the price for Citizens' shortfall. In the meantime, homeowners are being forced to make impossible choices. Some opt for lower levels of coverage, accepting higher deductibles or excluding wind and flood coverage entirely. Others drop coverage altogether, gambling that a hurricane won't hit this year. Still others, like the story of Lisa Carter, a schoolteacher in Fort Myers, have sold their homes because they can no longer afford the insurance premiums. This isn't just a financial issue. It's a public safety issue, a real estate issue, and ultimately, a social equity issue. Lower-income families are hit hardest by these rising costs. And renters, too, are feeling the ripple effects, as landlords pass on insurance increases in the form of higher rent. So where do we go from here? Solving Florida's home insurance crisis will require a long-term, multifaceted approach. First, efforts to reduce litigation abuse must continue, and new cases of fraud must be aggressively prosecuted. Second, the insurance market needs to be stabilized with the help of state and federal support. This may involve reinsurance programs, grants for home hardening, such as installing impact-resistant roofs and windows, or risk-sharing arrangements that make Florida more attractive to insurers. Third, climate adaptation is no longer optional. Stronger building codes, smarter land use planning, and large-scale investment in resilient infrastructure are essential. Florida can't change its location on the map, but it can change how it prepares for the future. Lastly, consumers need better education about what their policies actually cover, how deductibles work, and how to mitigate their own risk. In the current market, understanding your insurance is as important as having it. Until then, many Floridians will continue living under the weight of unaffordable premiums and the fear of what the next hurricane season might bring. For a state that prides itself on sunshine and opportunity, that's a storm no one should have to weather alone. Insurance shouldn't be this complicated. If you agree, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and join the conversation in the comments below.